lost weight only to gain it right back after returning to your routine? Did your diet work for someone else but not you? Rockin' That ID Life helps you understand your genetic makeup to find a lifestyle that fits your needs. Together, you and RockinThatIDLife.com can focus on your health and meet your goals today. That's RockinThatIDLife.com.
Center Ice Brewery is a proud sponsor of Let's Go Blues Radio. Visit centericebrewery.com today to schedule a no-contact curbside pickup or make a reservation in their awesome tap room. That's Center Ice Brewery, located in Midtown St. Louis. Let's go Blues! Welcome to Season 10, Episode 22 of Let's Go Blues Radio. We're the often imitated, never duplicated, indoor plumbing appreciating. We're the original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast. Special thanks to RockinThatIdealLife.com and CenterIceBrewery.com for proudly sponsoring the show. Please check them out. It is Wednesday, February 9th, and we're broadcasting live on YouTube and Facebook. This is franchise episode number 340 all time. It's a nice round number. To interact with the show, we're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Just do a search for us. You will find us. I'm Craig Price, and my co-hosts for tonight's big show are Jeff Ponder and Bill Day. And on the agenda tonight, we do have Craig Berube's 3-year extension. Jordan Kyrou shines during All-Star Weekend. Robert Bortuzzo and Logan Brown sign extensions. The St. Louis Blues return to play on Thursday versus New Jersey. And Rocky Wirtz is a complete buffoon. All that and more on your weekly live edition of Let's Go Blues Radio. You guys ready for some hockey talk? And is a cat behind you, Jeff?
There is a cat behind me, yes. My cat, Dr. Zoidberg.
Showing the camera her ass.
Oh, yeah, he does. That's what he does. But hey, great news in talking about Dr. Zoidberg. Did you see the news about Futurama that was released?
Never seen a full episode.
Oh,
go ahead, blast. Yeah, go ahead.
Good show.
Do
it's
that,
a good show.
Do that.
No, it's fine. It's fine. You haven't seen it. I actually, it took me a long time to get into it. Actually, I didn't get into it until they took their first break. And then I loved it. I'm like, this show's great. I hope it comes back. It did. I think Sci-Fi Network picked it up. And I thought the Sci-Fi Network episodes were awful. I didn't like any of them. Didn't even make it through them. Now I think it's Hulu's picking them up. So I hope they do a much better job. They're coming back. They announced it. So I'm very happy about that. Side note. But yeah, very cool. And that's where the cat's name comes from, is Dr. Zoidberg is one of the characters on there.
Yeah, I understood the reference. I have seen the show, but I don't think I've ever seen a full episode. It doesn't hold my attention. I'm not knocking the show. It's just not. I don't think it's for me.
No, it's not for everyone.
And
I've caught episodes, but I couldn't name a single character other than After Tonight, Dr. Zoidberg.
Yes, Dr. Zoidberg. You always have Zoidberg. Kurt, you really thought I was just going to come after you for that.
I did.
I would only do that if you were I've never seen The Simpsons. Then I'd be like, what the fuck's wrong with you?
I thought it was going to be one of those cases where someone says, oh, I like this show, and someone else says, I haven't seen it, and the other person goes, you've never seen the show?
That is my wife with like any chick flick. And I'm like, why do you think I have seen every chick flick?
Because you're married to her.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've seen a lot because of her, but like, I don't know. She brought up When Harry Met Sally. I've never seen that. And she flipped out. How have you never seen that? And I'm like, why would I ever see that?
It's a good movie.
Because it's a very good movie. I could flip out.
It is.
I could flip out over that. It's not. Yeah, it is. It was a great movie. Probably for us more, Curtin myself, gentlemen of our age will appreciate.
Gentlemen of a certain age. Right.
Gentlemen of a certain age.
She's even younger than you guys and me.
Because
she's a chick.
It was a movie you had in your library when you were dating.
Mm-hmm.
To put on. Yeah, to put on.
Right.
So.
Right,
like
and then when.
Yeah.
When Sleepless in Seattle came out, and you got doubled down on that whole thing, like you had 2 movies for one of your first 5 dates. Either one works, and if that goes well, then you have a follow-up movie for the next night. So it's great.
It's probably part of the original Netflix. It was before Netflix and Chill. It was Sleepless in Seattle and Chill, I guess.
Yeah,
probably.
I can see that. Sleepless in Seattle's a good movie.
Yeah.
I mean, anything with Tim Honks is
Tim
fantastic.
Honks, yeah. He's so good. I think I saw a
He
question on Twitter or somewhere today. It said, what big star would upset you the most if you found out that they were a complete asshole? And and the first thing that popped in my head was that Tom Hanks. I'm like, if I found out Tom Hanks was a complete dick, I'm like, oh man, he's in so much stuff I like.
Absolutely.
Christian Knutson has come out
answer.
swinging. He's come out swinging. By the way, they got a new live listener, Christian Knutson.
Oh,
Wonder if he's related to Espen Knutson.
I was gonna say, it sounds like a hockey player.
He says Futurama sucks. Okay. We can't all agree on everything.
I wouldn't go so far as to say it sucks. It's not for me, but to each their own.
Like I said, I remember watching it when it first came out.
Comment of the show.
It premiered after like a Super Bowl. It was like 98, 99 Super Bowl. They premiered it. And I was just like, this is the worst show ever made. And I didn't watch it the whole time it aired. And then one of my friends convinced me, and I finally watched it. And I think that was back when we used to get DVDs of the seasons, right? And about like 04, 05, I started watching it. I was like, oh, this actually isn't bad.
Well, I mean, I've probably used the meme, the "take my money" meme, more than I have watched the show.
That's a great meme, and that's a great scene too. Yeah. So yes.
Official beers of episode number 340. You can follow each of us on the Untapped app. My handle's at CPrice12. Jeff's is JPonder94, and Bill's is Billy Blue Note 33. Jeff, you are up. What's up?
Well, guys, today. Look at that, I got it right.
Yeah, fat tire.
Didn't even have to turn it around.
Is that a new label?
I don't think so. Maybe.
It's washed out. It's washed out.
Is the bike washed out? I can't see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't see the bike. Yeah. Hang on. Right. Let's see.
There it is. It's still a new label compared to one I recall.
There we go.
But yeah.
Okay. So, Fat Tire. Just one of my favorite beers I usually have in stock. From New Belgium, an amber ale. So if you're into amber ales, I recommend those.
First time I had Fat Tire was at Tin Can Tavern, I think, a long time ago.
There we go.
Bill, what do you have, sir?
I didn't have enough time to come up with a theme for why I was drinking this, but I have a Das Vidania.
You're so close to there, so close to perfect.
So close.
It worked, but I turned
it perfect in rehearsal.
Right. I know.
By Distill Brewery.
We rehearsed. Yeah, by Distill. Yes, Das Vidania, rye whiskey barrel aged Russian style imperial stout. It was a pretty penny for this one beer. It was
$8.
About $15.
Oh, so wow.
Yeah,
nice. So. That's expensive beer.
Yeah.
What is just a pint? Just a 16 or what?
Yeah, it's a 16. Yeah.
Okay.
So
wow,
it's lovely. It's lovely.
I'm happy for you. That's quite nice. I tonight for me was a let's see what someone left in my fridge and I'll drink it kind of a beer tonight. So let's see if I can get this up on camera without turning it or messing up where it's positioned. That's not too bad.
Perfect.
Grapefruit Paloma.
Any good?
By Absolute. It's a it's a seltzer. It's not bad. I was not expecting to like it, but it's not bad.
Who left that in your fridge?
Pretty lavender can.
Seltzer berry.
Wasn't that he asked who left it in the fridge?
I think it was Sarah. I think Sarah brought it over and left it here.
God, that's Sarah. What a bitch.
Oh, leaving beer in my fridge, or
I'm kidding.
Alcohol in my fridge. Maybe.
Yeah. I'm sure Sarah's a fine lady if she's friends with you.
She's a good person. So there you go. And she leaves alcohol here. So there you go.
Known to associate with scoundrels, but
right. Yes. Scoundrels who outkick their coverage. Right. Today in Blues history, courtesy of the @STL Blues history Twitter account. February 9th, 1966. Very important day in Blues history, one you don't hear enough about, really. The NHL announced St. Louis was one of the 6 new conditional franchises. There were 3 groups interested in the NHL St. Louis franchise. The Solomon family, who ended up winning the bid. A group with Stan Musial involved. And the third group had a member of the DeWitt family in it. So that's rather interesting. Yep. Awarded today. Awarded today, February 9th, 1960. So today is the anniversary of the official start.
So let's ask this question.
Yep.
Was it announced like in the newspapers and TV on this day, or did it actually happen the night before? Because we all know the media didn't work the same way back then.
The NHL announced. I'm going by Blues history, so
that probably means it was in the paper. It was probably on the news. Yeah,
well,
awesome.
they may have decided the day before, but they may not have officially announced it until today.
Right.
So,
and we would have had it leaked an hour later if that were nowadays.
Right. Exactly.
They may have sent a telegram via, the Wells Fargo wagon.
Oh, yes, of course.
Right. From Toronto to St. Louis.
In the lockbox.
Mm-hmm.
What's it called? Is it called lockbox? Or did it have a name? Lockbox. Okay. Is that the same lockbox that Al Gore referenced? Same kind of thing?
Yes, same thing. Same exact box too.
Yeah.
That's fun facts.
That's shocking.
The more you know.
February 9th, 1988, St. Louis hosts the 1988 NHL All-Star Game. Bobby Plager, Barclay Plager, Bob Plager, and Al Arbor were all named honorary captains. With the passing of Barclay, his sons, Kevin and Kelly, stood in for him. And Barclay passed away, if I remember correctly, just a couple days prior to this, or the day before, maybe even.
Yeah, they announced it. From what I remember hearing, because I was 3. Actually, I wasn't even 3 at this point. I was 2.
No, you're 1.
From what I remember hearing, he passed away like just a couple days after they announced that they were honorary captains. So I'm glad they didn't like reshuffle and say, let's give it to someone else. It's cool that they let the kids step in for him.
It was a couple days before the game too. It was like bang bang right before.
I'm looking now. He died on February 6th, 1988.
Yeah, so 3 days before.
3 days.
Mario Lemieux scored 3 goals and had 3 assists, including the game-winning goal in overtime. Lemieux set the record for points in an All-Star game, and Mats Naslund set the record for assists with 5. And if you look behind me, was my finger right there?
The ice bucket.
The 1988 St. Louis All-Star Game ice bucket is on the shelf behind me, or one of them. Which as a guy was a long time ago, a guy was selling some Blues memorabilia, and it was a 1988 NHL All-Star Game ice bucket. I'm like, well, that's weird and different. Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah,
I don't have it.
About all
with the All-Star Game.
Yeah, about all I remember about that is about the All-Star Game is that I was heartbroken that I couldn't get tickets because Patrick Waugh. It was, I believe it was his first All-Star game, and
is that right?
We didn't get tickets, and Mario took home the truck that night.
Yeah,
he won Dakota.
He won the vehicle.
I cried that night because I had pooped myself.
I was about to say.
Guessing. I'm just guessing as a 2-year-old.
Chances
more
are,
than likely.
Every couple hours that happens.
Yeah, you never know. Just kind of comes out.
February 9th, 2001, Scott Mellanby was traded to the St. Louis Blues by the Florida Panthers for the rights to Dave Morissette and a 5th-round pick in the 2002 draft. That was a nice. I mean, Mellanby was a nice player for us for a while.
I remember at the time, just everyone in Florida and St. Louis and everybody up in Canada, whatever the coverage was then, I think it was TSN, just raving that was a steal for the Blues. And it was. I mean, because I remember at the time, the conversation was, well, they went out and got Mellanby. That means they're not going to get Tkachuk. Well, a couple weeks later, we all know what they did. but it was just like, wow, they got both of them, and they got Mellenby for pretty much nothing.
Yeah, I mean, Mellenby was a veteran. He was sick. Well, he was in the league for like 15, 16 years already, something like that.
Yeah.
But still, he had some nice years for us.
Yeah, he did. That Kachuk, Dimitra, Mellenby line, whew, that was sick.
I guess we'll leave out the part about his kid spreading the flu through the locker room in 2003. But
nope. Nope. You want to hear more about that? You can listen to Curtis Sanford talk about it on our show. We don't need to talk about it.
Matt,
I also want to add David Morissette. One of you will know this. He did end up playing in the NHL for 11 games. Do you know which team?
Tampa Bay.
No.
Pittsburgh.
My clue was that one of you will know this.
Oh.
And apparently I
Montreal.
was wrong. Montreal Canadiens.
And he's actually part of, he does broadcasts for RDS.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep.
Matt Harris said his beer for tonight is the Bourbon Love Honey from Lost 40 in Little Rock. I want to say I've seen this beer somewhere in the wild. That sounds familiar, the Bourbon Love Honey.
I think I've heard of the brewery, too, is Lost 40. If I remember correctly, when I lived in Dallas, there was a lot of Alabama brewery beer at this one spot I always went to. So I think I've seen that before. Arkansas. I'm sorry.
Arkansas.
Yeah.
Matt Harris also said Fat Tire is a really nice amber. New Belgium is one of the better, larger craft brewers. 1554 is another good one from them.
I've never had it. I'll check that out next time I go over to Friar Tuck.
Oh, very, very, very good beer. 1554.
Let's see. And Ken Morris says Fat Tire sounds like a beer for Harley riders.
Yeah, I could see that.
If we're going, very accurate. We got some Craig Berube news to talk about. He resigned for 3 years, so we'll talk about that.
He was fired?
The opposite. The opposite.
Yeah, you did just say he resigned.
I said resigned
for 3 years.
Resigns.
I'm not doing this job for 3 years.
I'll come back.
He resigns for 3 years.
I'll come back in 2025.
You see the notes. It says re-signs.
No, you're right. You got it right.
All right.
In the notes.
NHL All-Star Weekend happened. NHL Kyrou was amazing. And then Bortuzzo was resigned too. So we got some stuff to talk about Blues News-wise, and we'll get to that right after ID Life.
You don't live your life like the guy you see at the gym powerlifting 7 days a week. You also don't live it like the cycling class instructor or the vegan who gets her steps every day. So why go to the vitamin store and try the same stuff they're using and hope it meets your needs? Newsflash, it doesn't. RockinThatIDLife.com is here to help you better understand how you respond to food and exercise. Their supplements are developed to make sure you're using quality products you can trust to achieve the results that are meaningful to you. Is your goal to improve overall energy, achieve deeper sleep, lose or gain weight? The answer to all of those options? Rockin' That ID Life can help. Our friend Dustin at RockinThatIDLife.com is here to help you do life better and achieve your goals, not someone else's. Get started today by visiting RockinThatIDLife.com or emailing Dustin at RockinThatIDLife@gmail.com and tell him Let's Go Blues Radio sent you to receive 10% off your order. That's RockinThatIDLife.com and start your betterment journey today.
Such a smooth, soothing voice you have there in that commercial. Who wouldn't want to, contact Dustin at ID Life?
You're listening to Let's Go Blues Radio. And now, sit back and relax and hear the stylings of Kurt Price.
Sit back and relax and just take it. you know you want it.
You know you want it. Don't even try to stop it.
Yeah, the phrase "you know you want it" on a date probably gets you arrested nowadays.
Oh yeah, faux show.
You can't even say that. Faux show. You say faux show. We watched Superbad over the weekend.
Oh, that's a good one.
That line makes about 20 appearances in the movie. Faux show.
I think because of that movie is why I say it a lot.
So funny. Craig Berube resigned with the Blues for 3 years. In parts of 4 seasons with the Blues, 234 regular season games. The 56-year-old Berube has a record of 133, 71, and 30. He has a mark of 18 and 21 in the playoffs, winning the Cup in 2019. 18 and 21 in the playoffs is interesting because 16 of them came in one run, and it's been 2 wins since. But earlier this season, he became just the 8th person in NHL history to play 1,000 games in the league and coach 200 wins. So why now, guys, with this the contract extension? And I because it was really funny because before we get into it, at lunch I was listening to ESPN radio in St. Louis, and they were trying to talk hockey, and
trying to being the key words,
right, and they were talking, and Jimmy Rivers was on, so they were actually talking. He was talking some hockey. They were listening. But it was funny because they were talking about they were probably, wait until the end of the season to get something done. And it happens like half an hour later. They signed him to 3 years. But so were you expecting it to come soon? Were you expecting the offseason? Did you have any expectations as far as when he was going to get
We'll talk about the other things that have happened for the Blues in a little bit. But I actually expected a fair amount of stuff to happen during this little layoff in games. I wasn't sure about re-signing. I almost made the claim on this show, and I'm glad I didn't, that they were going to go out and get that rough, tough defenseman they need during this break, that it would give Armstrong enough time to get his ducks in a row, say, okay, here's who I'm willing to move. So I thought something that the needle was going to move in some direction. I just wasn't 100% sure what it would be. But as far as what's come out the last 2 days now, I'm very happy. And we'll get to the players in a bit, but with Berube, this is just the right move. He's had an unbelievable year this year. Of course, he's not in the Jack Adams conversation just because, the NHL only picks surprise teams to win the Jack Adams. Blues aren't really a surprise team at this point. But he should be, honestly. Just been the adversity they faced early in the year and to still come out on top the way they did. And now you're trying to shuffle on the fly, getting your players back and having the season that they're having. It's a testament to the coach. He's done a great job, and I think he's adapted his style too. That was kind of the question last year, right? That if the Blues got faster, if the Blues got bigger, would he be able to adapt his style to whatever the roster is? And I think we've seen him do that. The Blues have added some speed, and I think he's let them be a little more creative with the puck. And we're seeing the benefits of it with wins in the W category.
Yeah, I think it's important to note how, the importance in what to me seems like a change in his mindset of trusting youngsters, right? I thought he was starting to go the Hitch way of, I'm never going to trust a youngster and not going to put any faith in the guys that I need to put faith in, like Robert Thomas and Jordan Kyrou. And Jordan Kyrou, the amount of ice time Berube's given him this year, I think that has been one of the major keys to success of this team. And, to me, that Jeff talks about, him making it, adapting his game to the roster. That is a great example in my book. And I think it's been great. And, hopefully Kyrou can continue to reward all of the ice time that he's been given and put up a strong second half.
It's interesting to me too that it wasn't that long ago when you heard a lot of rumblings on social media when the Blues were going through one of the hiccups this season, right when they were struggling, about how this is no longer a Berube team, whatever that means, right? How they're a fast team now, but they're not a big burly smash mouth team anymore. They play with speed. They're a higher scoring team. They rely more on the offense than the defense. This isn't a Berube team anymore. And actually, one of the journalists, I think, in a post game press conference, they asked him specifically about that, and he said he looked at him and was like, "That's not I don't have to coach that way. It's not. It was just kind of funny. He's like, no, I'm perfectly fine playing with speed. That's how the team is built. We'll play with speed. But every successful team has to be mindful, in their own zone. So I mean, that's what it boils down to. And the Blues have maybe struggled with that a little bit, but I was happy to see him get it. I'm not. And it's interesting too that when we talk about re-signing players, which we'll talk about in a little bit with Bortuzzo and Torchenko and Logan Brown, the first thing you think of is how much, right? And most coaches, their salaries aren't disclosed. There's like 22 or 23 coaches in the NHL that do not have their salaries disclosed. For some reason, there's like 8 or something are. Odd. I'm not sure why that is. You go to Cap Friendly.
I feel like a lot of times it's the Joel Quenneville's, the Mike Babcocks, the big ones are the ones that get leaked.
But not always. Not always
most
though.
Coaches, it's not.
I mean, it's not just the big ones though, because on Cap Friendly you got a range of, I think it's what, $5 million to $2 million, and I can't imagine coaches getting paid much less than $2 million, but maybe they are. To me, I think other than it not being a distraction, I think now is as good a time as any. I don't think there was any need necessarily to get it done. I mean, whether it be a distraction of the team, I don't think so. I don't know. I mean, they won the cup with a coach, interim coach. So I mean, there's no that could have been a distraction. It wasn't. So whatever. I also, would have been better to wait till after the playoffs, because are the last 2 playoff runs that were flops. There were extenuating circumstances to both of those. Last year being COVID at the team, Perron wasn't able to play. They had a buzzsaw with Colorado, one of the best playoff performances I've ever seen out of a team in Colorado in that series. The year before that was the bubble. The team was really good going into the bubble, and they just flopped after that break. So I mean, but do you think? I mean, there's a little. It's going to come back and say, what if we get bounced in the first round again this year? Then all of a sudden, 3 first-round exits for Berube, and now you just re-signed him for 3 more years. Is that something that's going to be talked about?
I'm imagining that the way I look at it is probably how I'm thinking that Armstrong probably looks at it. This is crazy to say, but this is his first full regular season behind the bench for the Blues.
That's true.
Isn't that nuts?
Yeah.
Oh my. Something's going on.
Bill's wind chime fell over.
Bill is pissed. He is not a Berube fan. He wanted Hitchcock back.
He's got like a magnet structure with like 14 forks all balanced, and they all just fell.
No, I was very when I thought about that when the signing happened, I thought that is crazy that he hasn't had a full 82 game season yet. And I think, we saw the year after the Cup, they were the number 1 team. Was it in the West at the time of the break?
Yep.
And they looked like barnstormers. It looked like a team that was destined to repeat. Then COVID happened. Last season was, I hate to just throw a season out the window, but if you're going to throw a season out the window, it's last season. Blues it was kind of a transition year with a lot of the players coming and going, especially their captain, and then injuries and, not having fans and getting Colorado in the first round, who ended the season strong. And I hate to say it,
right.
but I throw last season out the window. I'm excited to see what he's going to do this year. And yes, if they get trounced in the first round, you are going to get the people saying, why the hell did you already give this guy an extension? But are you really going to fire him? Or not fire him, but not sign him back if they lose in the first round again? Again, this is his first year as a head coach in a full 82 game season for the Blues. I think you still want to bring him back for at least another year to see what he can do in a second run.
I think the only thing that would be an issue, I agree with you. I think that you've got to bring him back anyway. But I think the only sticking point may have been money, which we don't know what he's making. So like if they wait until the offseason and we win the cup this year, he can command more money. If we get bounced in the first round, he's basically got to sign for whatever they offer him, right? Because it's 3 first-round exits in a row. Even though he won a cup in 19, 3 exits in a row, that's not good enough. That's the death sentence for a lot of coaches. If you lose in the first round 3 years in a row when you have cup aspirations, that's bad. You can't do that. But we, extenuating circumstances for this, we get it. Winning Unlimited is in the chat. I thought the Montreal coach that was just fired was making $1.75 million. If he was, I don't think that was listed on Cap Friendly. I got my numbers from Cap Friendly, so maybe that was listed somewhere else. But that's possible.
And he spent it all on fashion blazers.
Well, that's a thing up there, right? Bergevin does that too. He's got quite the ensemble. Did that
now I can't imagine that he's not on Rodeo Drive every day.
Rodeo Drive
in LA.
As far as the last couple of playoff runs go, I think JR, friend of the show, Jeremy Rutherford, said it perfectly in his Athletic article today. Here's a little snippet. He said, "It shouldn't be overlooked, but I think there were extenuating circumstances. The Blues were one of the best teams in the league in 2020 when the pandemic started, but for whatever reason did not play well in the Edmonton bubble. In 21, they were simply overmatched by Colorado and were also playing without leading scorer David Perron. This postseason should be a better barometer." And I agree. This postseason, like you said, Jeff, the first full season as a head coach, going into the playoffs, hopefully, COVID-free with fewer issues, more normalcy, hopefully. And like this is kind of a big deal. It's not a make or break by any means. He just got re-signed, but I think as far as fan patience go, God, if we get bounced again in the first round, that people are going to forget all about the cup in 19, which is only a few years ago. They're going to forget about it, and it's going to be like, fuck this, fuck that, blow up the team. So,
well, and I'll add too with Berube. I don't remember what I was going to say.
I've had that happen before.
It just literally escaped my mind as I was talking.
What I said was so interesting that you just completely.
It really was.
You were going to say that you were ultra shocked by this move because it really means that the Blues really, really have to screw the pooch, or there has to be some, some political drama around Berube for everybody's dream of Ken Hitchcock coaching the Blues again to be realized. I think that's what you were about to say.
I forgot. Okay,
I did just remember.
So I don't want to have you forget again.
There it is again. No, I'm just kidding. No, I was going to say, what JR said with, the bubble, Binnington even said it after the bubble, for those that might remember. It just did not feel the same for them. Yes, they were not a good home team when they won the cup. They're the worst home team ever, actually, to win the Stanley Cup. But still, you want to have fans in the stands.
Don't care.
They're booing you. Yeah. It's, who cares? They won. Yeah. But no, whether they're booing you, cheering you, who cares? You like to have fans in the stands. You like that interaction. And I think a lot of teams look at the bubble and throw it out. Even Edmonton, as bad as they've been with playoff contention, getting beat by the Blackhawks in that 3-game series. I think even they look at that and say, well, this was different circumstances. So I throw that out too. And then I also say with last season, going into this season, this is a better team. You've got another year of Jordan Kyrou, who's having a breakout year. Pavel Buchnevich has been a revelation, been great for the Blues. Brandon Saad, he's given a different look to the top 6. And then, mentioning David Perron being out for the playoffs last year, you hope to have him back this year. I think you've got a better roster as long as the guys stay healthy. Plus, you've got a backup in Ville Husso who could step in as your number one if you need it. I think that this is the year that really says, okay, what can Berube do after their cup win? If he screws the pooch here and they lose 4 straight, I could see the ire of the fans. But if it's a hard-fought first-round series and they still lose, as long as the Blues played well and they show some promise, it's not going to bother me too much. But yeah, you just have to hope they don't go 4-out again.
Right. Just don't match up against Colorado. Right. That's got to be our worst case scenario. Match up against Nashville. I'd love that. I said that before. I would love that series, and as much of a heater as UC Soros has been on lately, going into the All-Star break, I'm not convinced that he's a better goalie than Jordan Bennington or Ville Husso when they're on their games. He's just, I don't know. It's the Jaro Halak argument, which I know I was a Jaro Halak defender. He's just too small for the modern NHL. That the Pronger banner raising game, he got beat on shots to the corner that he just got sniped because the puck got moved too quick. So I'd love to see that. So I think Berube, if he can coach the team to a point of not having a Colorado matchup in the first round, all the better.
You want Colorado in the second round. That's where they seem to crumble.
Yeah, they can't get out of the second round.
Yeah, they can't get out of the second round. Even if they get in the third round, I think the Blues still have a good chance. But yeah, I agree. First round, Colorado's raring to go. You got to wear down. Let McKinnon get worn down a bit, and Makar get pushed around in the first round. Face them in the second round. It seems to be like that's where the sweet spot is for Colorado.
Speaking of coaches' salaries earlier, do you know which coach makes the most money
currently?
Currently, that's disclosed.
That's disclosed.
Does that include coaches that are still getting paid that were let go?
No.
Okay.
I'm talking current head coaches.
Current head coaches. That's interesting because the 2 highest paid guys are gone, Babcock and Quenville.
Right. Yeah. Brian Sutter.
Brian Sutter.
Not Brian.
Brent.
Not
Sorry,
Brian.
Yeah. No.
Daryl.
It's
no, I'm an idiot.
Right.
Daryl Sutter.
You had 7 chances. You'd get there
right.
Pete DeBoer.
No.
The guy in Vancouver, Egghead. What's his name?
Nope.
Bruce Boudreau.
Boudreau. No. Todd McClellan makes $5 million per in LA.
That's interesting.
In LA.
Now, who makes the least? That's disclosed. Which is hard because it could be in the middle somewhere.
Butch Cassidy.
Right.
Bill, you got a guess?
Who's Arizona's coach this year?
No. Maverick OB was not disclosed.
I do not know.
Bruce Boudreau.
Oh.
$2 million. Now, again,
he's still living off the Slapshot royalties, though.
This is just what's disclosed. Coaches could be making less. Like Winning Unlimited said, he thought Montreal's coach was making 1.75. So, and which coach has had the highest salary in NHL history? You guys know this, right?
Babcock.
It was Babcock.
Babcock. And the total dollar value of that contract?
Ooh.
It's it's almost double the next highest contract ever for a coach.
Yeah.
It's almost twice as much.
Right. It was 9 per, right?
No,
And I
6.25 per.
Was it?
For 8 years.
Jeez.
So it's $50 million. They're still paying it. They're going to pay it next year too. Next year's the last year. So Babcock's rolling in it.
It's not like they can't afford it.
No, I know, but it's just kind of funny.
Right.
They're just throwing money at everybody. Shanahan.
So
he was fired in 19, and so he was hired in 15. So he played about half his contract, and then Shanahan helped bring him in. I'm surprised Shanahan survived that. That's a big swing and a miss. $50 million contract. Oof. Oof.
While we're on, are we done talking about Berube?
Sure.
All right, so I'm going to throw this in now. So my brother threw a piece of trivia at me this week. I guess he saw it in some article and thought, I wonder if Jeff knows this. So when he told me, and I actually guessed wrong, I thought, I'm going to bring this up on Let's Go Blues Radio and see if Bill and Kurt know. What is the lowest number never worn by any St. Louis Blue?
Are we not counting zero?
No, can't count zero.
Is zero a number?
It's the absence of a number. It's
Right.
the absence of a number.
It's the black argument.
Yeah, right. Black, white. Let's see.
So I literally went through
it's up
every
there.
player I could in my head, and he was surprised how high I got, but I was just a couple off, and I
63.
Nope, that was one. 63 was Justin Papineau.
Justin Papineau and Jake Neighbors.
Oh,
yes.
Well, shit. Okay.
I don't think it goes that high. high. I'm going to say 54.
Oh, 51.
Bill,
51?
so close. 54. Mike Glumac. How could you forget about him? Thomas Moises and Dakota Joshua.
53.
Oh, fuck. How did I get that
53 sounds
wrong?
like 53?
51. You said 51, right, Kurt?
Yeah.
Derek Pouliot.
I'm throwing out numbers.
Yeah.
51's Derek Pouliot.
53?
53 is Colin Hemingway, Jonas Junlund, and Austin Pagansky.
Yep.
Okay.
I was going to say Pagansky when he was still here. What is it?
Guys,
59?
you have danced around it. It is 52.
52.
Yep. So my guess was 45. And I was fairly confident. Yeah, that's one of those where it was literally one game each. Cody Rutkowski and Chris Beckford-Sue both wore 45.
Yep.
And I'm damn it. It was that 1 year where we had 18,000 goalies play for us.
Right. I could have told you it was the hyphenator.
Yeah. So 52 is the number.
52. I'm a little surprised because, with the block number letters of 5 is kind of a reverse 2. You think that you could almost like a mirror kind of a thing. It'd be a thing for players, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
My brother said he guessed 58 before he looked, and I go, "No, Dan Highnote." And he goes, "How the hell did you know that?" And I'm like, I remember him literally saying he wanted to wear 13, but it was taken. Bill Guerin, I believe.
Yeah, Bill Guerin.
So he took the two numbers that added up to 13 that were the ugliest together. That was what he said. 5 and 8.
Chris Bray said in the YouTube chat he was thinking 46. So
46 would have been Derek Bakar, Christian Laflamme, Roman Polak, and currently Mr. Jake Wallman.
Yeah.
Right. I had to respond to him. He just opened the Polak door.
Never open that door. Whew. The NHL All-Star Weekend happened last weekend. Jordan Kyrou kind of kicked ass. He won the fastest skating competition, 13.55 seconds. He beat out defending champ and all-time record holder, right? Dylan Larkin. And also beat out Cale Makar and odds-on favorite to win Connor McDavid, among others. So Kyrou was very good, and he had fun this weekend. Shouldn't have been anything new to Blues fans.
I thought it was funny because literally they're going in, and Chris Kerber, I heard him say this on the radio. I don't remember what show it was. It might have been on 101.1. I don't remember, but he said that he was watching the coverage and hearing them talk about like, watch out for McCarr, watch out for McDavid, and he's sitting there going, these guys really don't know about Kyrou, do they? Well, they're about to find out.
Yeah.
And I think that's what all of St. Louis was thinking. Like, listen, we're not just being fair-weathered fans here in saying, this kid's great because we see him all the time. He is that fast, and nobody's talking about it.
What was it? Chelios that actually said he's the dark horse. Someone said he's the dark horse. Might have been Chelios. So good on him for at least bringing him up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Going into the whole thing, like, Kyrou's just not even mentioned. Chelios gives the dark horse nod, but coming out of the weekend, I mean, I saw a quote attributed to Victor Hedman that said Kyrou's already a superstar.
Yeah.
And that to me was like, that's the highest praise you can get. The best defenseman in the NHL saying you're a superstar. But also scares me that if we get to if we somehow get to the Cup final against Tampa, who seems just to be eventual there, unless Vasilevsky gets injured, that they'll already have a plan to shut him down.
Oh, well, dude, Montreal is going to go on a tear in the second half here, so they're going to be in the Stanley Cup final.
New head coach
Martin Saint-Louis.
Head coach / new right wing, Martin Saint-Louis.
Right. Chris Bray, he looks old. I saw a picture of him. He looks really old. Chris Bray in the YouTube chat says, what was up with the outside glowing puck shooting exhibition on the water during the skills? I assume so you could see the puck outside. It was dark, but I don't know why. I don't know why they had to slam the puck to turn it on. Why not just have it on the whole time? Why? I mean, because that cost players some time, right? There a couple of times it didn't turn on right away. It's just one more thing to go wrong. Just have the thing on the whole time. That was weird to me.
Yeah,
I liked that.
If that's what you have to do, just smash them all right before the cameras roll.
Yeah, that's weird. Or have the guy that hands you the puck smash him, turn them on. I don't know.
Yeah.
I liked that competition, the fountain one. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, it was cool. My guess is that they found a box of the Fox pucks, and that's what they were.
My only issue
really hard.
The fountain thing was kind of cool, but my only issue was, and I mentioned this on Twitter, if you're going to do these outdoor things and you're not going to have a crowd making the back noise and you're just going to have one announcer kind of calling the whole thing, you need to get some personality out there. Mm-hmm. And there was just the players chosen, no offense to them. They're good Canadian boys for the most part. No personality. You have got to get guys like Ovi out there. I think of like Ryan Reeves, even like a Tom Wilson, guys who will just go out there, crack jokes, make fun of each other, and just push each other. Like, that's the kind of stuff I want to see. And it was just boring in that sense, but it was a cool competition.
The announcer who was, basically roasting players, like deadpan roasting, I thought was hilarious. I loved it because I thought it was just different than the regular old broadcasters kissing the players' asses, how great they are, running off stats, whatever, They would just make fun of the players. It was just, they missed a shot, they'd rip on them for it. And the players had the earpieces in so they could hear the broadcast, and so you'd see them laughing and stuff. So I thought I agree with you, Jeff. The players were kind of as far as personality goes, but I thought the only personality in that whole competition was the broadcaster, and I thought that helped a little bit.
And that's the kind of role that you thought that a guy like Jeremy Roenick was going to be able to do. That, right? Like, that's exactly what we wanted from him when we heard he was retiring and going into broadcasting. It was, he's going to do this. He's going to rip on the players. He's going to, be the fun-loving guy that, and he became a fanboy. He just, I don't think like a Pierre Maguire.
I don't think he's clever, or I don't think he has the comedic value to pull that off. I think he can be, but I don't think that's not his thing.
Well, I think we can all agree that he just went the wrong direction with the whole sexual harassment thing. But
Right.
He
broadcast
could,
on a
right,
podcast.
he would have. He was probably the broadcaster with the most potential to do that, and I think TNT's got another one in Bissonnette. Right, and right now they've got him relegated to just being part of the panel with Gretzky, Ensign Carter, and Rick Tocchet.
That's funny.
Which it's good, but that's the kind of event I would love to see him there, ribbing those guys. And,
yes,
and that's the kind of personality I want from the players too.
Right.
Yeah, Well, I mean, I that'd be great, but that's probably wishful thinking because you're kind of you get what you get.
Right.
You get, like my kids will say, you get what you get, and you don't throw a fit with the players.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like there were a lot of inside jokes going on. Pavelski, right? The old man winning the whole thing, and talking trash the whole time, but they don't put the mics on for it.
Which competition did you guys stand out as being good? What'd you like?
I mean, I always like the basics, the hardest shot, the accuracy. I missed that. I loved the team relay thing they used to do just a couple years ago, where it was going around the soda bottles, and then the elevated passes, and they just don't do that at all. And I'm like, well, that was the most fun thing to watch. But in terms of what was there, I'm going to go with the hardest shot, the fastest skater, and the accuracy.
So the classics.
Yeah. Right. And I'll be honest, I missed a lot of the skills comp. I caught the fountain shooting, the blackjack game, and I turned it on at the end to catch the hardest shot because that's always the closer. And this year it was closed with accuracy shooting, and man, that gets painful. I'd much rather see the hardest shot close it out every year. And
the accuracy, I hate that it's timed now. Go back to 3 for 4, 4 for 5. That was more exciting to me.
Well, if you have but you have two players that both hit all 4 targets, and whoever does it faster, right? That's the winner.
Right.
Tiebreak.
Well, but do both.
Right, but what wound up happening this year, at least, is players started gripping so much harder after that first miss and trying to concentrate to get it. And that's fine. That's great. Don't make that the last comp, right? Put the hardest shot. Put your closer in every time. And I was disappointed to have not caught the hardest shooting, and I didn't go back to watch it. I know it was available on demand, and I could go watch it on YouTube right now if I want. But
one of my problems with it too is if you're going to bring in Trevor Zegras to do the breakaway challenge, why not bring in Zdeno Chara to do the hardest shot? Why not bring in I don't know who wasn't there, but somebody who's really good in the NHL at doing the accuracy. If you're going to do it for Zegras, I think you do it for every competition. That way you have the best of the best out there.
Have each team have their own skills competition of the classics: hardest shot, fastest skater, accuracy, right? And then have each team send, well, not each team, but have each team then submit their results or whatever. And then the top 10, top 6 go to the All-Star game for the classic competition. So you're actually probably getting the 6 hardest shots, the 6 fastest skaters, and the accuracy is kind of hit or miss, but still, literally. But I think that would be kind of cool because then you could do it like you have an event like the Blues did it in the outdoor event here. They had a skills competition.
Right. There was a couple of years where the team had a skills comp so that they could sell tickets, right? Sell extra tickets locally. And then whoever won that, not whoever won that, but the top 6 or whatever across the league went to the skills comp. I would love to see that.
Yeah.
Not just the guys that get invited.
Yeah, I or not for every event necessarily, but for the classics, maybe just do that for a few events.
So breakaway challenge. I thought that was just I've never liked it. Don't like the revamp of it. The best part was John Hamm. He was the only one that was kind of making me laugh. Don't get me wrong. Some of the things they did was kind of cool, kind of, all right. But I don't know. The Pietrangelo thing was just stupid.
The Petra thing was dumb.
The Jack Hughes thing took way too long.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of it. That's such a silly competition.
And the best one didn't win either. Zegras was the best one, I thought. But I liked it better than I thought I was going to, and I hated the way the breakaway challenge. I hated what it morphed into, and that's and why they removed it. I liked it better than I thought.
Yeah, the NHL needs to convince itself that it can't have a dunk competition because it can't.
Yeah, I'd much rather them just have creative, not even creative breakaway moves, just have the old competition. Or didn't they? They break away where the goalie gets points, the shooter gets points.
Breakaway relay.
Yeah, the breakaway relay.
Yeah,
they did
that. That's all you need.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Extend that. Maybe go do more with that. I don't know. I'd have liked the blackjack competition more if they had set it up differently. I thought it was set up to be cool, but everybody got 21. And I'm like, well, that's lame. And so the target should have been smaller or in the fewest amount of cards or something. Because
I hate to say it
for the different card values.
Yeah,
I hate to say it, guys. That was one competition that I was watching that I was like, anyone who's played hockey for longer than 4 years could do this. Like the targets were so big that it was just like, I could go out there with those guys and be able to do this. And I don't say that and mean it ever. Like, I really felt like I could step out there with Joe Pavelski and easily hit 21.
And that
was not that difficult.
There were two other there were two shooters, right? That didn't get to go because there were no more aces or kings on the board or whatever, no face cards.
They were just knocked out because
they were knocked out. You couldn't hit the same card again. So I was like, that was lame. It was dumb. I thought it could have been cool. It could have been fun, but they messed it up. They didn't
have the cards move. Maybe have them rotate.
Yeah, move. Yeah, make it difficult.
Something
half the size, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought I thought the John Hamm thing was pretty funny. And how
I swear, man, I know he said with DeBrincat it was because 7 is the score of a touchdown. I am convinced he did not give him a good score because he's a Blackhawk.
I didn't like what DeBrincat did as much anyway either. So I mean, people, what did he do? I forgot. But I remember at the time, I think
the Hangover.
The Hangover. Oh yeah. I didn't care. I was like, I mean, I thought everyone gave it 10s. I'm like, what? And hang him at a 7. I'm like, okay, 7's fair. I thought.
Well, and he's a Blackhawk, right? So it's definitely going to pay him, which is beautiful.
I swear, that's exactly. And then he said he was going to give a high score to Pietrangelo no matter what, which he ended up giving him a 19, and they counted it.
Which that was kind of I was like, well, was he going to give him a 10? But it was actually pretty funny that he the 19. I was like, oh, that's creative. I like that. But the Kaprizov imitating Ovechkin, I thought, okay, that's not that creative. But what bugged me about the whole thing was that after he scored, he lays the stick on the ice and does the whole warming the hands over the hot stick thing that Ovechkin actually did in a game, right?
Right.
No one mentioned that he's doing Ovechkin's warming the hands over the hot stick. His stick's on fire. None of the broadcasters apparently caught it or knew about it, or I'm like, it was never mentioned that he actually described when they were talking about it.
To me, the thing that was really impressive about that was he went topsy-turvy. He switched his handedness.
Yeah.
And he was able to still, I mean, it wasn't like a superb move, but it was, the fact that he was able to do anything with his opposite hand. Have you guys, because you're both right shots, right? Have you ever tried to do anything left-handed when you're playing?
Batted, like baseball, not hockey. No.
Well, I'm saying pick up a hockey stick, try to shoot the puck.
Yeah,
no, I don't think so.
Because I'm a I won't say natural, but a goalie who has to shoot left as a goalie. I can, but it's like at best 70% of what I can do with the right. So yeah, and I mean, when I was a kid, I would train myself in wiffle ball to be ambidextrous.
Yeah,
I could do that pretty well.
That was fun.
But hockey, different story.
Yeah, lefty bat and lefty wiffle ball was always fun. And in the All-Star game itself, the Central beat the Atlantic 8-5 in the first round. Kyrou had 2 goals, 2 assists, and led the Central in points in this game. The Central then played the Metropolitan Division and lost in the final 5-3. Kyrou had 1 assist in this game, giving him 2 goals, 3 assists in the 2 games, and led the entire tournament in scoring with 5 points. How that wasn't talked about a little bit more, I don't know. I mean, he didn't. Yeah, I guess because it's Kyrou, right? He's not a Billboard superstar yet. So
I don't think it matters. They're only going to look at the team that wins.
No, I get it, but I don't think it was mentioned once that he actually had the most points in the tournament. So
no, I thought I was surprised by how much his name kept getting mentioned. He was in all of the replay packages. They had was it Kenny Albert? Was he the broadcaster for this?
Yes,
whoever the broadcaster. It was his comments about
I think he owns the broadcasting rights to the All-Star game. He always does them.
I think so, but Kyrou was always like, his comment on Kyrou was always there, and I was surprised that they kept rehashing that. I'm like, that's great. I didn't expect it, but when it came down to the what I was paying more attention to was coming down to who is going to get the votes for the MVP, and it's not going to be from the losing team. So not surprised Kyrou won it.
No, I'm not, and I'm not saying that Kyrou should have won the MVP, but yeah, I just didn't hear it discussed. Not that that's a big deal. I just the Blues have one guy in the tournament, and he does something he had a great All-Star weekend, and he was mentioned a lot. I get that, but I was trying to count his points up to see if the Central could come back and win, and if he was leading scorer, would he get MVP? That'd be kind of cool. But anyway, Chris Bray in the YouTube chat said, and we'll talk about this in a minute, are you guys going to watch the USA hockey versus China tomorrow morning, or not interested with no NHL?
7:10, I believe. Yeah, I've been watching Olympics. I was just telling the guys before this that I watched Denmark, Czech Republic today, the replay, and I thought that was if you haven't watched that game, if you've got Peacock, pull up the replay, the men's tournament. That was an excellent game. Denmark ended up surprising and winning in their first. This is their Olympic debut. It's still exciting to watch. So I'll be watching. I'm going to watch the whole game, and I'll be watching probably all of USA Canada, both women's and men's. It's been great. And like I said, for me, right over my shoulder here, I've got a TV, got the Coyotes and Kraken on right now. That's been on all day while I'm working now, and it's all Olympics. So yeah, I've been watching Olympics as much as I can.
We'll get into that in a little more after we hear from Center Ice. We'll also talk about the Bortuzzo extension, Logan Brown, Toropchenko, and some more Olympic talk after we watch a video about trying to make stuff up on the fly. This is a word from my Sunrise Brewery.
Let's go Rams, right, Kurt?
Oh yeah, no. Sunrise Brewery is St. Louis's only hockey-themed brewhouse. Stop on in during the next game to experience the ultimate hockey fan brewery while sampling various hockey-inspired beers, such as Old Arena Lager, the Beauty IPA, the Rotating Pale Ale Series, or seasonal offerings such as their Imperial Stout, their Lime Sherbet Sour, and much more. While you're there enjoying any number of their fantastic beverages, you can admire the bar top and tables made of authentic arena wood and the actual penalty box door from the old barn. Located at 3126 Olive Street in Midtown St. Louis, it's one of the best places to watch a Blues game, or any game. Visit centericebrewery.com today to schedule a no-contact curbside pickup or make a reservation in the tap room. Center Ice Brewery. Let's go Blues. Please drink responsibly. Bill is indisposed at the moment, so Mike Milbury is sitting in for Bill.
Thanks for joining us, Mike.
Yeah. Back in the day, Bill and Mike Milbury were kind of look similar, a little bit doppelganger-ish,
A
little bit. So Robert Bortuzzo, Logan Brown, and Alexei Toropchenko signed extensions for the Blues. Toropchenko, 22 years old, signed by Blues in the 4th round, number 113 overall in 2017 draft. Signed a 1-year, 2-way contract. He'll make $750K when he's playing in the NHL and $100,000 in the AHL. I'd assume most of his time will be in the AHL. Has played in 5 games so far this season for the Blues. In the little time he's played, I think we talked about this a little bit. And I think this is to quote, I think what you said, Jeff, at the time. He looks like he belongs in the NHL. Well, he did for a couple games anyway. Looked like he belonged. So hopefully he continues to progress, and I'm very curious to see how he's going to pan out over the next couple of years.
Yeah, I feel like he is on the path of maybe like a Nathan Walker type player, a guy who, you can rely on to be a real good AHL player. Don't know anything about his leadership skills. You got to hope maybe that's there, and maybe he's, a future alternate, at least for the Thunderbirds. But, he's been the 5 games we saw him up here. I saw him in preseason a couple games, and we've seen him in training camp for a couple years now. And I think he's looked great.
He scored a goal today in their game tonight, I guess. Yep.
Yeah, so he's not. I don't think he's going to be. You're never going to see him maybe even in the top 9 in the NHL. But I could see him being one of those guys that if the Blues are kind of strapped for cash and they say, okay, let's bring up one of our young guys. Toropchenko, I think, could fill in on your 4th line, no problem, even now and maybe well into the future. He's got good hands, good speed, nose for the net. Maybe he puts it all together and maybe he is a top 9 guy in the NHL. But I think he's a great, a good example to me would be like a Nathan Walker, a guy that you can call up to play in a top 9 role if you need it and will deliver. Maybe not going to put up 10 points in 10 games, but he's going to be able to step in when you need him and play some solid minutes for you.
Logan Brown, 23 years old. He signed a 1-year, 1-way contract, so he gets paid $750K regardless where he plays. Originally drafted 11th overall by Ottawa in 2016, Brown was acquired by the Blues in a trade on September 25th, my mom's birthday. 2021 for Zach Sanford, never forget. Brown has appeared in 17 games for the Blues this season, posting 6 points, 3 goals, 3 assists, and 4 penalty minutes. So, he'll be another Blues property unless they trade him for at least 1 more year.
So it's a 1-way contract,
way,
which is important to note because he's pretty much expected to be up here. And I think, as far as what we've seen with this roster and with how much money he's making especially, I think he's sticking around. In the next year too, and they'll see what he can do after that. But I've been impressed by him, right? Kurt, you too. I think he's played. He's played great.
I think he's been a case where early on, especially, he's very noticeable. Always around the net, created chances, had chances himself. But then there were games later on where he disappeared for a while. So hopefully consistency is a thing that he can improve on to be more kind of like Kyrou. Kyrou had a great start last year. Not comparing him to Kyrou, just Kyrou had a great start and then kind of fizzled a little bit as the season went on, which is to be expected. Newer players, right? Other teams adapt, or you get in a rut, whatever. But getting Logan Brown in exchange for Zach Sanford, a guy that most fans and most of us anyway wanted him gone for nothing. Waive the guy, get rid of him, and to get a former 11th overall pick, a guy that has some skill. Maybe it develops, maybe it doesn't. It's a win-win opportunity. So
yeah, I love this deal. Give him another year to prove what he can do at the NHL level. Getting him out of Ottawa was huge. I think he was. I don't think he's the type of guy, at least early on in his career, that you can say, okay, we need you to go out there and score us the big goal. We need you to go out and lead this offense. I think right now in his career, he is an excellent complementary piece. And, maybe every now and then you say, okay, Logan, we're going to bump you up to the second line center because, maybe Shen's got some repairs. Maybe he's got COVID, whatever it is. Logan, you're going to step into the second line center. And, he's not going to miss a beat. He's still going to look fine. He's going to look comfortable. But he's just not, I don't know. To me, the way where he was drafted and the way Ottawa was trying to use him, I just don't think he's that guy. So I hope he continues to progress here, and it'll be fun to see what happens coming into next year with his contract and where they'll start him. But I'm willing to put money on he will be a St. Louis Blue at least till the end of next season.
Chris Bray asked how Zach Sanford was doing, and he is doing Zach Sanford things. He went goalless in Ottawa for the first 11 games. Then he had 3, and then 5 goals in 5 games or 6 games. Yeah, 5 goals in 5 games. And then went goalless again for about 15 games. And then had a couple goals in 4 games and has not had a goal in the last 8 games. So he's extremely streaky. He's got 7 goals this season, 13 points. That's what he does. He had a hat trick in 1 game too. So almost half his goals came in 1 game against Colorado, actually. So he's doing Zach Sanford things. Where are we here? Bortuzzo. So this is the one that got. This was kind of big news today. It's interesting. Probably the bigger talked about third pairing defenseman signings, less than $1 million. Probably got more discussion on social media than most do, I guess. 32 years old, so it's a 2-year deal for a 32-year-old Bortuzzo, $950,000 per. That's $425,000 less than he's making right now per season. He was originally acquired by the Blues via trade from the Penguins on March 2nd, 2015. 6'4". Who was that for?
Come on, Bill. Leperrier. No.
Was it not?
Cole.
Ian Cole. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. Yep. Who was the previous trade with Penguins? So we sent Leperrier.
You were thinking Lapierre, right?
Lapierre, yeah.
Marcel Gotch.
Lapierre.
Marcel Gotch, right? Was that what it was?
Was that really?
Oh man, that's a name. That's a blast in the past.
Yeah.
I'll look that up, but I'm pretty sure that's right.
6'4", 216-pound defenseman. Spent the past 8 seasons with the Blues. He currently ranks 17th amongst defensemen in the Blues history with 341 regular season games played. At the end of his contract, if he plays it out here and plays 50-ish or so more games per season, each season, he'll have been here 10 seasons, and he'll be in the top 8 to 10 or so of all-time games played by a defenseman for the Blues. Robert Bortuzzo. You guys like this deal?
I love it. I love it. All about it. If you can get a veteran who can still play excellent penalty kill minutes and clearly has no problem just sitting games when the lineup's healthy and it's, hey, Robert, you're kind of our 6th, 7th guy. We're going to sit you for Mikkola or whoever. Clearly, he has no problem with that. Seems like a great locker room guy. He beat the shit out of Zach Sanford, which we all love. I love this
which
deal.
some would argue should have led to a raise, but not with Army.
All right. Yeah,
right.
No, I think this is just another. I don't want to say genius move by Armstrong, but a great signing. 32. So at the end of this deal, he'll be 34. And again, he's not a guy that you're ever going to slot in your top 4. You know what he is. You know what you're going to get out of him. Not the fleetest of foot. He's not, you're not going to be like, whoa, this guy scored 8 goals this year. That's just not going to happen. We know what we're getting out of him. And to get him for basically under $1 million a year, a veteran guy, you can plot any. I mean, they were playing Perunovich with him, letting him, get a feel for the NHL with a veteran guy. I love it. I think this is an excellent signing. I know some people were against it, saying, oh, they're not going to have any money next year. You can sign a 6th defenseman who is a veteran and can play big penalty kill minutes for $950K. I think any GM in the league takes that. So I'm all for this deal.
Plus he brings an element to the defense that we say we need more of. He's a tough defenseman. He'll play physical, crosses the line sometimes, takes some bad penalties, whatever. But if we don't re-sign him, then we're losing even more of what we say we need on defense, right? So, not that he's some kind of stellar top 4 guy. He's not. He's going to be a bottom pairing guy, and that sits occasionally for situational purposes. So, I'm fine with this deal. I like it. Always appreciated his hustle and his passion. He brings it every night. He said before that he's never taken for granted that he has a solid spot on a roster in the NHL. He's always been a 3rd pairing guy usually. So those guys, they don't take stuff for granted. So he's always, even when the Blues, maybe don't bring it on a given night, I don't think you can probably say that about his game. He's out there busting his ass. Now, whether or not he's effective is a different story sometimes, but he's out there busting his ass. And like you said, Jeff, on the penalty kill, he's an asset on the penalty kill. And special teams with being how important they are. He's a good play. He's a solid situational guy that we can plug in and play in certain situations, especially. I don't think age is an issue with him. He's 32. Some people didn't like that. He's 32 and they signed him for 2 years. 32 is not old.
They signed him for 2 years. It wasn't like, a 7-year extension, right, for a guy that, he doesn't play a full 82 games. You don't expect him to play a full 82 games. So even if it's 3 years, okay, at that point, maybe he's looking to transition into coaching with the team, right? 2 years is perfectly fine.
Add to what we've mentioned, his situational usage and stuff that can be effective. He's a well-liked guy. The team likes him. Good locker room guy, they say. People like to make fun of that a little bit, but there's sometimes something to that. Sometimes it doesn't matter. Sometimes a guy can be an asshole. Who cares? He's a good player. Whatever, you put up with it. Other times, nobody wants to play in a locker room full of assholes, I'm sure. So, if it's a good locker room guy, it's fine. Whatever, it's a bonus. He'll be 34. He'll be 30. He'll turn 33. He'll be 33 when the contract starts next season. Be 35 when it's over. So it's not like he's 36 right now, or going to be 39 when it's over. It's just, 32 right now is not old. 33 is not old. 35 he may retire. Whatever. I'm perfectly fine with that.
And let's face it, this conversation's different if he's a 20 to 25 minute guy. He's not. He's a guy that you're plugging in again. He's a penalty kill, I guess, specialist at this point in his career. And he's a 3rd pairing guy. So talking about age, yeah, you obviously you want to take age into account with any signing. But with a guy like him, it's not like he's going to just one day he's just going to hit a wall and it's up. Shouldn't have signed that contract. He's gotten too old. He can't keep up with the league because he's still playing at a level that is fine. 3rd pairing defenseman. I don't see the Blues at the end of this contract where it's not going to be a Scandella situation. There's not going to be Blues fans. I can't believe this. We're paying this guy $950K to come out here and play this way. No, you're not going to have that conversation. The conversation is going to be, okay, well, Bortuzzo's making $950K. He's not playing well. He's just going to sit. They're just not going to play him.
Sit, waive him.
Who cares? Yeah.
Trade him to somebody for future considerations. I don't know. That wants a veteran depth defenseman for the playoffs. Whatever. That's what you do. And he's easy to unload or easy to waive or easy to just sit. He's not a Scandella $3.275 million contract that you'd like to unload. He's $950K.
You didn't just give him a raise.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah, we save money.
Salary.
We have $425K more cap space next season because of this deal. If you don't sign him, you gotta have somebody else play. Now maybe you bring somebody, maybe a Wallman plays, or maybe someone make a league minimum, so you save a couple $100K more. But I mean, we talk about NHL teams going to the playoffs always wanting to get that extra depth defenseman just in case there's an injury, a veteran depth guy that can be plugged in if somebody gets hurt or not playing well or whatever. It doesn't hurt to have a veteran depth guy that you can plug in, third pairing, situationally under $1 million. It's good. It's a fine signing. 2 years. There's no risk here.
And let's add into that if the Blues, let's say they let him walk, and this summer they say, okay, we're going to replace him in free agency. You're probably spending more money for a guy who at the very best is the same level of Bortuzzo. But then you have to factor in, they got to learn the system. They got to be able to step in and learn how the Blues play. Bortuzzo's already there. He knows how the Blues play. He knows the system. He knows the coaches. He knows the forwards. He knows where his teammates are going to be. Why make a change of such tiny magnitude just for the sake of making a change? I think this is just, again, the right move for the Blues right now.
Right. If you're looking to upgrade this position, you must be super fucking deep. And the Blues have depth, but this isn't a position you want to upgrade, right? Yeah, maybe
this is the depth.
Right.
This is the
depth. So, but what's the upgrade, right? Scott Mayfield? Right? Are you going to pay $4 million more to bring in Scott Mayfield to play this job?
I wouldn't bring him in to take Bortuzzo's job. I'd bring him in to take Scandella's job. That's what I would do.
Right.
That's the move I would make.
Right, but that's the thing with Scandella, and this is what seems to be, would be set up, is if you can dump the Scandella salary, and I'm not gonna do like what I saw suggested, and include him in a trade for Jacob Chychrun in the JR chat last week, but if you can find a taker for for Scandella at this point, you do it.
That trade was brought up by somebody else too on Twitter, that packaging a Scandella in a deal to get Chychrun. And it's like, you know what? Okay, first of all, if you're getting rid of Scandella, it's a salary dump. But if you're also getting Chychrun in return, you've got to give up so much to pry Chychrun away and to also have them take on your salary dump as well. You got to give up a lot to get Chychrun, who, in my opinion, is not solving our defensive problem anyway. So I don't know.
If you're moving Scandella in that trade, you are literally telling Arizona, hey, okay, we will throw in 2 first-round picks.
Because Robert Thomas and 2 first-round picks. Yeah.
Yeah, if you take on his salary too.
I think the guy proposed Perunovich, Neighbors, first-round pick, Scandella for Chychrun. That is way too much.
I don't like that.
I don't
like that one bit. I see Perunovich involved in every deal that I've seen fans propose for Chychrun.
You know why? Because he's a good player, and fans want to get rid of good players because we can get something for him.
I just don't understand that. I want to see what the Blues have in Perunovich before just unloading him for Chychrun. Because at the very best, again, I think Perunovich's ceiling maybe is a Chychrun, but why trade for that when he's already in the organization?
If we're moving Perunovic, it better be for a deal that makes us, oh wow, now we're the front runners for the cup. I mean, if we're gonna do that, well, let's go big. Let's make it a blockbuster and say, oh my God, the Blues just solved all their problems and now they're cup favorites over Colorado. That's fine.
Yep,
I'd do that.
I agree.
But not just to get marginally better. No.
And I keep seeing that all the time. Every deal, it's Perunovic and piece B, piece C for Chychrun, and I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me. Why move him now?
Well, first off, he's hurt now,
so
he's on the IR, so he's not going anywhere. But yeah, it's the MO with a lot of Blues fans on social media. We have somebody good who might be in the minors or might be a young player, trade him because we can get something for him. We don't want to pay him when his contract's up. It's the dumbest thing ever. It happens all the time. It's always happened. This is recently, as far back as I remember. It's like, oh, we got to trade him. We don't want to pay this guy. I'm like, well, we are paying people. We're spending to the cap. We pay people, so we'll figure it out. Don't worry about it. The Olympics are going on. Women's hockey has already started, and men's hockey starts tomorrow morning.
Well, they've already started.
Or right now, I guess. Or it has started. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Sorry. It has started. Today.
They started for us, basically.
Men's hockey. USA starts in the morning tomorrow.
Yeah.
Women's hockey, Canada played US. The feature game of the preliminary round. Canada beat USA in the qualifying 4-2. Both advanced to the next round and figured to play again in the gold medal game. Both teams were 3-0 coming in. You guys watch this game?
Oh yeah,
I watched the first period and knew that Canada was going to win because the U.S. far outplayed Canada in the first period and just couldn't get to the net, couldn't capitalize.
The whole game,
and Canada scores on a power play opportunity. I'm like, yeah, I know how this game's going to go. I can fall asleep without worrying.
USA goes up 2-1.
The second period was like even more so. Like watching them play and then them go up 2-1. My thought was, okay, now they have to win because they have just been pressuring and dominating. And Canada, just like you said, man, like I guess you're insinuating, Canada just took advantage of their chances. I mean, it was nuts.
Yeah. They outshot Canada 53-27.
Oh,
almost one shot shy of twice as many shots. Unreal. And I'd like to say, if it happens again the same way if they meet in the final, I mean, can Canada do this again? Can they get the amazing, or can they get record-breaking goaltending again? Maybe. But I mean, their goalie,
she was phenomenal.
The reason why they won, and she set the record for most saves by a Canadian goalie in the Olympics ever, men's or women's. Which I read that and I'm like, wow, that's impressive. But then wait a second, Canada's traditionally had really good teams, so the other teams probably aren't getting tons of shots on them anyway. So that makes sense.
Still though,
that's
super impressive.
Yeah, and to only allow 2
and
goals.
That's gotta be up there for any team, really. I mean, facing that many shots and making that many saves.
Yeah. It was impressive, and I was disappointed to see USA not take advantage of their chances. Canada, and you know what? They had 53 shots on goal, and Canada blocked a shit ton of shots. There were so many shots directed towards the net, and Canada blocked a ton of shots. And I was getting mad because I'm like, it's kind of like, Parayko at the point. Get the puck through, get it on net. They can't do it. They couldn't get it through.
There were a couple times, and I'm thinking of Carpenter especially on the last power play that the U.S. had late in the game. There were multiple times where it was just one time the puck, and it reminded me of Tarasenko.
Yeah,
because it's like, if you one time it, that's the only way you're going to beat Debian. Is that how you say her name?
Renee Debian. Yeah.
Yeah.
Renee Debian.
It's the only way you're going to beat her is get her side to side, surprise her with a shot. And it was the constant cradle and shoot. And that would let the Canadian defenseman get right in the lane and block the shot. I mean, all credit to Canada. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying anything bad about them. They played phenomenal, just great defensive hockey. I didn't see what total shot count was. Not shots on goal, but like shots attempted.
Directed. I didn't either. They don't
It
give
had
you.
to be high.
I mean, I'm sure they exist out there somewhere, but the Team USA's hockey site, they don't give shit for
No,
stats.
they don't give you anything.
It's awful.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
But man, they looked so good. And I agree. I think if that game is played the same way in a playoff game, I think US pushes through. But the penalty shot on Poulin, that did not help.
No, that's true. Yeah, that was bad.
God, she's good. She is so fast. Like ridiculous fast.
Yeah, what did I say last week? We all know that the gold medal game is going to come down to a triple overtime goal by Marie-Philippe Poulin. And it's just,
she's ridiculous.
You know what's going to happen.
Dude, when she stopped that pass at the point, I think it was actually, unfortunately, St. Louis and Jinsey Dunn that turned it over to her, and she just was off to the races. I'm like, just let her go. I think Mike McKenna even said that on Twitter, friend of the show.
Yeah.
At that point, you just have to let her go and hope your goalie makes the save.
Well, and
they ended up getting a slash, then she got the penalty shot and scored.
Well, she got an uncontested shot off. I mean, the penalty was committed, and then she came in and got a clean shot off, and she didn't score. So the penalty, in hindsight, didn't have to be committed because she missed on the shot anyway. So, but she got a second chance at it. So that kind of sucked.
She was so far gone at that point. Like,
yeah,
I hate to say it. You know, as a defenseman, you want to do anything to stop that breakaway. But, I mean, at that point, she's so far gone, you just have to expect your goalie's going to come up with a big save.
USA had 6 power plays, and they had 1 power play goal. And they had chances. They had a few power plays in that third period with a chance to pull within 1. And get back in it, and they just couldn't get it. I mean, they pressured and they shot and they had attack zone time, and it was crazy how many turnovers they forced this entire game. Mm-hmm. Canada's trying to come out of the zone, and USA would force a turnover, and they come right back, and they wouldn't let them out. It was just, I mean, they were there for 2 or 3 minutes at a time, just nonstop pressure. It was crazy, and to not win that game was just nuts. I think Team USA has to be pretty happy with most of their game. I think, obviously, getting the goalie to move and open up some holes and get some shots off quicker and not have as many blocked. It's hard to say that they need more shots on goal when they got 53. Shots on goal wasn't a problem. It's just they could have had so many more too.
And you know, it's unfortunate that we don't get to watch a lot of women's hockey. I mean, for one, we're bogged down by NHL, but also the fact that it's just really not available because, man, Hillary Knight, Kendall Coyne Schofield, seeing the moves that those ladies can put on, they're fucking good, man. They got some hands. And, you know, they're just getting open left and right. Amanda Kessel's up there, too. Yeah. Just,
hounding
Jesus
the puck.
Christ.
Puck hounds.
And the forecheck was ridiculous. They were all over Canada.
Matt Harris said, talking about our earlier topic with Bortuzzo, Blues fans complaining about saving money on Bort's contract. Really out here like, my water is too clean.
There's your comment of the show.
That was pretty good. I don't know. I kind of liked, what was the one early on? Futurama sucks. That was pretty good too. Men's hockey has started. USA starts tomorrow. NHL players are obviously not going. Of the 25 members of Team USA, 15 are college students. So other countries are sending more experienced veteran players, some with former NHLers, many with former NHLers. Team USA's first game is I've got 9:10 p.m. here. It's 9:10. I think it's 9:10 a.m. or 8:10. 8:10 is, I'm not sure if that's our time or Eastern time or what that is. Anyway, it's in the morning tomorrow, Central time. 8:10 maybe.
I don't know.
I think it's 8:10. It's 8:10. 8:10 or 9:10. And then so first Thursday against China, and then they play Canada on Saturday. And again, that might be noon, I guess.
It's 7:10 Central tomorrow morning.
Jeez. Okay, I have to record it.
Yeah. So I will be watching.
I'll record it and I'll maybe put it on in the background at work or something. You know what? I forgot about this, that before NHL players were playing in the Olympics for USA and Canada, or USA, I guess, every Olympics, they would flash back to Miracle on Ice, right? college kids beating the mighty Russians, and they talk about chances of it happening again. And I'm like, and they did it again. 42 years or 40, was it 40? Yeah, 42 years ago. And it's just kind of funny that Channel 5 did something about they're trying to do it again. They're trying to be those miracle college kids that are beating the Russians. And I'm like, okay, it's been 42 years, guys. Come on.
9.
Every Olympics.
What did they say in the movie? I don't know. Maybe if Herb Brooks ever actually said this, but it was something along the lines of they're going to beat us 9 out of 10 times, but there's that one time.
Yeah, not this game, not tonight.
Yeah.
This is our time. Their time is done. It's over.
Yep.
So 42 years later, we would have won 3 games? 4 games? 4 games.
What? 1, 3, 4 games?
No. If the math, if 9 out of 10 times.
Oh, right.
42 games later, we would have won 4 games.
I'm not a math guy. Don't ask me.
So I guess they'll never stop doing that. So
no.
Which I love. I love the story. I'll watch Miracle every now and then. Documentaries, yeah, I'm all up for it. But I think I've heard every single story that can be told about that 1980 run.
I've read like 3 books about it. I think
Yeah.
Mike Ruzioni wrote one. A couple other players wrote one. I'm the same.
Boy.
I think I've heard every possible story you can hear about that.
And Mike Ruzioni at the Olympics time is kind of like the groundhog seeing his coming out of the hole. Or a Mariah Carey at Christmas time. He's like, there he is. Okay, there he is. There he's, and that made his career. It's like I don't know how much he makes from these appearances and stuff, but he's every 4 years he's out there.
Mm-hmm. Matt Harris says I'll only be about 1.5 hours away from the Isabel Cup. Might make a special trip up for a game or two. You should. The PHF. Our friend Amanda Levier having another good season up with the Minnesota Whitecaps. So definitely check a game out if you can.
Next up for the Blues, we got New Jersey on Thursday. So pretty easy month for the Blues. I should pull up the schedule here. I didn't do that. We did talk about this last week, I believe, about their easy schedule in February. They've got a game against Toronto. And that's it.
Right. Toronto's the tough game. We have Blackhawks twice. Although the Blackhawks did dispatch the Oilers tonight.
Yeah, well, the Oilers though. I mean, they're
right. The Oilers are right. They're destined to get blown up.
It's just they have issues. I don't know. Something's. I mean, they had such a great start, and then they just completely fell apart. I guess no goaltending. The Devils tomorrow or Thursday, and then Chicago, Ottawa, Montreal, and the tough one in Toronto, and then Philadelphia, Buffalo, and Chicago. The months don't get much easier than this. So
you've got to take advantage.
Yeah, we did.
Right.
I mean,
you have to go. You have to go 667 for your win percentage.
And let's face it, guys.
6 out of 8.
Dallas. Oh, for sure.
Is that what it is? 6 out of 7? 6 out of 8. Is that the numbers?
That sounds right.
Yep.
Dallas won tonight over Nashville, which was nice. But
that's
for those of
regulation.
Regulation.
And Minnesota lost last night in regulation too.
For those of you who have kind of tuned out from the NHL, except for maybe All-Star Weekend, standings update: Colorado is running away with the division, 68 points in 44 games. Nashville second, 60 points in 47. And Minnesota, 59 points in 42. Blues are in fourth, 57 points in 44 games. Dallas, 7 points behind them with now 50 points. So not only, I mean, listen, that's a 7-point lead over Dallas. That's nice. Don't get me wrong. And we're gonna see the Central send 2 teams for the wild card again. But like Kurt said, you don't want to play Colorado in that first round. You know, you got to come out strong out of this break. And don't let Dallas think they have any hope of catching you. Get yourselves over. I mean, you're only 2 points behind Minnesota, only 3 points behind Nashville. This is very doable to come out of February, at least in second place for the Blues. So Just got to get rolling right off the start here.
Barring any craziness, I think Blues finish top 3 in the Central. I'm not. I think they catch Minnesota and maybe even Nashville. So, or I think they catch Nashville, maybe Minnesota. We'll see. I know Minnesota has 2 games in hand on us. We have 3 games in hand on Nashville. 3 points down. So, if we take care of business this month, we should be in the top 3, no problem. We'll see. Then head into March, which March goes into April right this year, right? The games do.
End of April. I think it's April 29th.
That's right. It's late April. Yeah. Okay. Rapid fire tidbits from around the NHL. The Montreal Canadiens fire Dominique Ducharme and make Martin St. Louis the interim head coach. So entering Wednesday, the Canadiens have a 8-30-7 record, which is good for 23 points. The worst record in the NHL. Montreal has lost 7 straight games. Did they play tonight? No?
Don't believe so.
Okay. 7-1, including a 7-1 loss at the hands of the Devils on Tuesday. St. Louis doesn't have any prior head coaching experience, but did serve as the special teams consultant with the Columbus Blue Jackets under John Tortorella back in 2019. The most decorated and successful team in NHL history by far is going on 30 years since their last Stanley Cup, Bill. They could not win a cup for another 100 years, and it's quite possible nobody would catch them in cups won. Montreal has 24, Detroit has 13, Toronto has 13, Detroit has 11, Boston and Chicago each have 6. So your thoughts on Martin St. Louis?
We're going to give this to Bill, but I just want to make one comment. Martin St. Louis, yes, he has no prior head coaching experience, but Bill, what is the thing he has experience in that got him this job? Speaking French.
Yes. Right. Yeah, I mean, Ducharme was, Ducharme needed to go. He was Bergevin's pick, right? I never liked the moves leading up to Ducharme. I didn't like when they brought back Claude Julien. Before that, I didn't like when they brought back old smokestack. God, I can't remember his name now. I think he's still an assistant in Pittsburgh, probably, but just bad coaching decisions ever since they had that great run back with Carbonneau, and then Kirk Muller didn't get the job, wound up coming to St. Louis on an assistant gig. I don't think Montreal's had a good handle on the coaching carousel. I'm glad that they just tagged St. Louis with the interim. My thoughts on Ducharme, right? He had nothing to do with the success of the Montreal Canadiens last year. That was a team that Ducharme didn't need to do a whole lot to coach. They had Shea Weber, who basically, he was the leader. He had Corey Perry, and you had Carey Price, and those 3 guys knew that was probably their best shot in an odd year, and they took it, and they did very well. And I don't credit Ducharme for contributing to the success of that team last year. And then, this offseason, everybody goes, right? You lose Corey Perry, Shea Weber's basically having to retire. Carey Price is out injured the entire year, or in the league, behavioral program for a good stint, but also recovering from surgery. And then you let Philippe Deneau go, and he signs in LA. Just terrible roster decisions around that team. It's going to take a while for them to rebuild. Kotkaniemi getting signed to an offer sheet, and Bergevin doesn't match it. That was the writing on the wall for him. He got his pants pulled down. Good riddance. It was only a matter of time before Ducharme got it, and I was surprised it took to this point. If they would have started playing with, play with him again, I would have been surprised. So not shocking that they replaced him. Glad that, if they're going to have to go with a French speaking coach, they only give him the interim, and I'll be interested to see what St. Louis can do with the team. But this team is such a far cry from last year. And they need to completely restart this rebuild. Suzuki's your core guy. Cole Caulfield, he has had such a hard year. If they can find some magic, they got every other piece they still have to rebuild. And I expect Montreal to sell. Right, there are going to be players gone. Sherratt's going to be gone. A couple other guys will probably be gone too. And I'll be honest, I have not taken time out to watch a Canadiens game in several weeks, probably over a month, because they've been so awful. So
big deal.
Glad to see Ducharme gone.
That's a big deal. You gonna watch a little more under St. Louis?
Definitely gonna try to catch a few more, at least at first. But this season's lost, so if they get on a heater, it'll be a good storyline for St. Louis and nobody else. Right? They need to get a very high first round pick.
Sidney Crosby scored his 499th goal last night. Came in the game versus Boston, which was a very eventful game. Pittsburgh plays Ottawa Thursday night, so a pretty good chance he gets his 500th Thursday. So when he gets it, he'll join Ovechkin as the only active players with 500 plus goals. So that's kind of cool.
Minus Jaromir Jagr,
who
will play until he's 900.
Active meaning NHL active.
Right, I know. But man, it's crazy. That dude is still going.
Well, he has to. He owns the team. If he doesn't play, the team basically folds, I think. Something like that. He's kind of caught. Yeah, I don't think he wants to play anymore, but I've read that he kind of has to. Otherwise, there's no interest and the team would fold, something like that. Brad Marchand punches Pittsburgh goalie Tristan Jarry. An in-person hearing was offered, and it came down after the show started that he got 6 games.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, well, did you see the hijinks before the game?
Yeah. Well, it was after the second period, where Jarry had the puck.
Right.
Yeah.
And he was trying to give it to a fan, and Marchand knocked it off his stick.
Oh, violently slashed his stick, took the puck, skated center, and then threw the puck. What the fuck happened? Jarry had
total.
I get the total pest nature. I'm fine with
that. That was more than that.
But to me, it's like, it's clear what Jarry's doing. You're really going to not allow him to give a puck to a fan? Like, what the fuck, man? Come on.
And Jarry's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
In disbelief. That was so messed up. With 24 seconds to go in the game, Marchand sucker punched Jarry in the mask, then later got restrained by a ref, and then purposely pushed his way towards Jarry and high-sticked him in the mask. So punched him, then high-sticked him on purpose. Marchand received a match penalty.
I am not. We've all made it pretty clear on the show. At least I think you guys agree with me. Not big Crosby fans here, but after he punches Jarry, Crosby did nothing. I mean, I know that none of the Penguins did.
Was it Crosby was right there next to him?
There. Yes.
He grabbed him.
He grabbed him, but then he just kind of let him go and let the fucking referee take him.
Yeah,
and I'm like, and it just adds to it that the fact that those two are apparently buddy off the ice. I don't care if it's Kurt. If we're playing against each other and you punch my goalie in the face, I'm wrestling you to the ground. I don't care that you're my podcast co-host and a good friend of mine.
I punched
you're getting your ass taken down.
I punched you in the face in the handshake line.
You did, and I deserved it. I definitely deserve that one.
At least you're both honest about it, which
Yes,
we would never expect from Brad Marchand.
I have deserved many of punch in the face my playing days. So I know.
That's funny. After that happened, I don't even know if I told you this. One of my teammates was like, "That guy punched you in the face?" I go, "No, it's okay. We do a podcast together." He's like, "What? Why is that okay?"
That's never okay. Surprised you're getting jumped. But yeah, Marchand got 6 games, and he was already suspended for 3 games earlier this season for a slew footing. Oliver Ekman-Larsson. I don't think 6 games is enough for this piece of shit. I every time there's a judgment that comes down for a suspension, I always think it's light. I'm like 2 games for this, 3 games for that. Come on. If you want people to stop doing stuff, start giving people 15-game suspensions. That's substantial. You know?
Yep.
I don't. Yeah. They've never been long enough for me. I think they should be much.
Well,
stiffer the penalties.
And for repeat offenders, like the fact that this season he was already suspended for 3 games. Not only double it, triple it, quadruple it. Say. Tell them at the time, hey, if you do something suspension worthy again the rest of the season, you're out 15 games. We don't care what it is. That's how it should be.
Yeah.
And they keep handing out these light suspensions, and because of the CBA, they can't fine them a lot of money either, so they don't care about getting fined. It's just they gotta do something about this. It's not a good look.
I guess 6 games isn't exactly light, but it's not what I wanted it to be. You know what I mean? It's not 3 games. 2 or 3 games would have been stupid. But 6 games is more than most guys get for most things. But I still think, just the kind of player he is and his history and what he did. It was 2 things: a blatant punch to the head of a goalie, and then the going after a guy and high stick him on purpose while you're tied up with the referee. What the fuck? What does it matter that the player wasn't hurt? What if his stick goes in his eye? It's intentional. Whatever.
Well, and I've said before that the fact that you use your stick as a weapon, I've never,
Right.
In all my years, yes, I've slashed people. I've, back when I played more competitive, there was plenty of times that I got a slash in the back of the ankles or something. But to literally take it and just be like, I'm going to hit this guy in the head.
Yeah, in the head.
That's
in the
not
face.
fucking cool.
Yeah.
That is not cool.
So you see, like you said, you see intentional slashes on the shins and the whatever. That's one thing. There's, but this is the face. It's the head.
Yeah.
So Rocky Wirtz.
Oh boy.
Yeah, and this is going to close out the show. We'll close it on a high note.
On a Dan high note.
On a Dan high note.
2 mentions on this show.
The Blackhawks had a town meeting with some journalists who asked questions. They answered. They answered some of them. Owner and chairman of the Chicago Blackhawks, Rocky Wirtz, was on stage. What's his son's name? The D. Daniel, maybe?
Daniel?
I think it was Daniel. And Ed Olczyk was on stage too, who I felt bad for because he was like, what the fuck's going on? But Mark Lazarus, who covers the Blackhawks for The Athletic, asked a question about the Blackhawks, what the Blackhawks will do in the future to empower a player in a similar situation as Kyle Beach, who, if you remember, was sexually assaulted by a Blackhawks video coach during the playoffs, and the Blackhawks covered up for 10 years. Rocky Wirtz went off on him, saying how they weren't going to talk about the past, and that since Lazarus doesn't work for the Blackhawks, he isn't entitled to an answer to that question. Total bullshit. Wrong. Wrong response to that question. Then another journalist, Phil Thompson, brought up that the Blackhawks, right after this question, brought up that the Blackhawks had said after the Kyle Beach fiasco that they were going to change the culture within the Blackhawks organization and have transparency, much more transparency in the future. Transparency, right? So, and then Wirtz refused to answer the question again, saying they were moving forward. They weren't going to talk about 2010, and that's all I was going to say. So this is the opposite of transparency. And I think Steve Dangle may have said it best on his podcast when he talked about it at length, and he gets so worked up. It's and he's passionate and he's intelligent about stuff. But he said Wirtz is pissed off because he threw money at this situation to make it go away, and that he's just pissed it's not going away. He's a filthy rich man who gets his way out of tough spots by just throwing his money at problems. And he's being a complete dick on stage because he's still being asked questions revolving around the Kyle Beach incident and refusing to answer those questions, when the Blackhawks organization themselves had said they were going to be completely transparent about this stuff moving forward. And when they have the opportunity to be transparent, they put up a big time resistance and do the exact opposite of being transparent.
Well, the thing that drove me absolutely bonkers about this too is the fact that there's a part, and I think it was when Lazarus asked his question, and by the way, he's listed on Google as Danny Wirtz, so I don't know if that's what he goes by, but he actually started to answer.
Yeah,
like you could tell he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go at Rocky. Let me take this," and like start to answer. I go, "No," Rocky stops him. No, you don't need to answer that. None of us need to answer that. And it's, dude, the guy is intelligent. He's not gonna like throw you under the bus or anything. Plus your family. Like, let him answer the fucking question. And guess what? This might go away because you're making this a very bad situation. And he wouldn't let anyone else talk about it. Idiot. Absolute idiot.
Lots of people are calling for Wirtz to step down as chairman of the Blackhawks. He's not going to sell the team. That's not going to happen. But yeah, a lot of people want him to step down from that role.
Get out of the public limelight.
Yeah. Even Hawk fans. I mean, some people are like, I don't know what to do. I'm so pissed off at how this organization has been handling things for apparently 10 years now. And especially recently, the fallout. They go, we don't know what we're going to do. We're a season ticket holder this season. We're going to play out this season, but we're probably not going to renew. And that was one of the questions asked after. Lazarus's question was, season ticket holders are worried about their value on resale. That's just dropping. So, and then he was all pissed off about that too. Wirtz went off on him for that question. It's interesting when you hear Blackhawks fans say that, because attendance is dropping, which, they suck. Attendance is going to fall because they suck. It's not rocket surgery to understand how that happens. But Blackhawks fans are kind of known for that too. They disappear when the going gets rough. They did for a long time there. But no sports team. If the Blues, I'm sorry. I mean, as big a Blues fan as I am, if the Blues had been doing what the Blackhawks have done, and they covered up the Kyle Beach situation, and they responded to it like they've done, I'd pick another team. I'd be done. I would not.
It would be difficult to continue this show.
Yes,
like I honestly think we would have to rebrand, and we would call ourselves an NHL show, because it would be hard to talk about this team and not just feel disgusted and icky the whole time.
It's just so it's just so offensive. Unbelievably obtuse team to think that I mean, it's just going to go away because they spent money to make it go away. And John Doe number 2, that I feel even worse for him, kind of, because he's not even getting. I mean, he got some money and then it's just swept under the rug. It just goes away, and it's like that's it.
Well, the other thing that he said was that nobody from 2010 is still here. Okay, what about you, Rocky Wirtz? You were there. And how about the 3 guys that you just brought in to find a GM in Patrick Sharp, Ed Olczyk, and Marian Hossa? Now, maybe those guys had no clue what was going on. I don't want to throw anyone under the bus that we don't know for sure. And then Jonathan Taves is still your captain. Patrick Kane is still on your roster. Like, don't tell us that nobody from 2010 is still with the organization, because we can list people off who fucking are, man. Come on.
Completely tone deaf. And yeah, I mean, Dangle got it completely right. Just
and I paraphrased. I wasn't quoting him. I just kind of wrote down some notes when I was listening to it. But let's ask Mark McGuire how the "we're not going to talk about the past" bullshit went. That didn't go over too well.
Right. I'm going to go to Congress and say I'm not here to talk about the past. No,
why the fuck
we
are you
brought you here?
Yeah, why the fuck?
And
are you here?
McGuire wasn't aggressive either. He was just, I'm not going to talk about it. Wirtz was like,
yeah,
we're not doing this. This is not, dude, come on.
He was
man.
belligerent.
Like, this is important.
Yeah, he was belligerent, and he acted like the journalists were way out of line, and they shouldn't be asking these questions. And I'm like, they were great questions. They were good questions. And I don't know how the town hall was going before or after that, but if you look at Mark Lazarus's Twitter feed, he's got the video posted of the questions and Wirtz's response. And yeah, it's the way. It's almost not what Wirtz said. It's more the way he said it. I mean, what he said was stupid and not accurate and obtuse, but the way he said it was just like, he's the bully in the room and he's pissed off for this. And Dangle also said, which I thought was a great point, that when this was covered up, the Kyle Beach thing for 10 years, they didn't tell the Wirtz family. They didn't tell Rocky Wirtz. And because this is how he reacts to shit. He doesn't handle things well or correctly at all. So they didn't tell him. And so
Apple did not fall far from the tree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I will say I got something wrong here, and I'm glad about it. And that was, I said that Laz's press credentials were getting revoked. And he has a pretty good tweet about trying to interview DeBrincat from home tonight. His Alexa answered for him.
Oh, really?
Oh, nice. Yeah, it was a gong show, and I saw somebody. I think it was actually somebody like a PR director for, I don't even know if it was a sports team or not, but they tweeted about it, and they said, "How was he not prepped for a question like this? Like, you had to know that that question was coming."
No,
didn't you see the next day the Blackhawks posted a job for PR director?
Yeah.
And,
maybe
and
that's
also,
why.
And Wirtz did issue a quote apology, which wasn't really an apology.
No,
but it was very short. And I don't have it in front of me, but it was very short and not really to the point. And for the seriousness of the situation that Wirtz created, that fell way short of what was necessary. That was awful.
Yep.
Again, you have a chance. Okay, maybe you can save some face by releasing something to the press that will, kind of apologize on, legitimately apologize and say the right things. Nope, fucked it up again. So
yep. And this time you had plenty of time to think about it.
Yeah, monkeys fucking a football up in Chicago. That's what's going on.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I actually do feel bad for Blackhawks fans. I really do, because think about it again. You said it. If it were the Blues, what would you do? It's like for the Blackhawks. Think about it. If you were a Blackhawks fan, the way you're a Blues fan, like, your heart is so invested into that team. You've spent money, you've spent time, you've maybe even named your pets after players.
You've cried.
You've cried over losses and wins.
Yeah.
And then to have this happen in your organization, this organization that is near and dear to you, that's tough. I feel real bad for the real Blackhawks fans out there.
My last point on this is I had been kicking around the idea of going. The Blues play the Blackhawks in Chicago on the 27th, 2:00 Sunday afternoon game. Go to the game, drive home. I was kicking around that idea. I can't give my money to the Wirtz family. Can't do it. No.
That's why you'd buy them a third party. Then it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm going to buy something at the game.
Oh, you sneak stuff in. You sneak in food, and you piss on the floor.
Oh, Jesus.
Don't clean up your trash. Well, no, don't do that because that's someone's got to clean it up, and they're not responsible. So,
yeah, agree.
Don't do that.
Unless it's like you're told, hey, actually, Rocky Wirtz said he's going to clean this section up later tonight. Then trash it.
Yeah. Yeah. Then we're shitting.
Which I don't think Rocky Wirtz has picked up a piece of trash in probably his whole life.
Ken Morris said Rocky Wirtz is acting like he is the owner of the Danbury Trashers. I haven't watched that documentary. Have you guys?
No, I need to.
There's a documentary on Netflix. I should watch it. That's a shit show of a situation.
I am amazed I haven't seen that yet. I'm actually amazed that all three of us haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it's been on. I keep glazing over it. I'm like, I gotta watch that. I never do. All right, so end the show on a happy note. Any other questions in the YouTube chat? We got anything else?
Not that I could see, but it was a great short show, guys.
Well, the Berube thing happened after we decided to have a short show, right?
Right.
Ken Morrow was the story. Ken Morris said Ken Morrow was the story of that USA 1980 team, wins gold at the Olympics, and then wins the Stanley Cup with the Islanders a few months later. That was you talk about peaking early in your life.
Right place, right time. Ken Morrow had great years, and
what I'm saying is, I don't think it gets much better than that. Winning the gold medal and the cup in the same year, you can't beat that.
How do we know that Ken Morris is not actually Ken Morrow? There's only 2 letters off there.
That's true. Could be tooting his own horn there. Say, hey, Ken Morrow.
Yeah, Ken Morrow's great. Sure, why not?
Friend of the show, Ken Morrow. Should have him on. He's not doing anything.
Yeah, I'll call him.
Actually, in about a week and a half, you should call Eruzione. He'll be bored. He won't even work.
Yeah, that's true. I could call anyone from that U.S. team.
I assume we'll see Eruzione when the U.S. starts playing, but usually he's doing
Matt
color
Harris
somewhere.
says, I've never seen Ken Morris and Ken Morrow in the same room at the same time.
There you go. Mystery solved.
Yep.
That's how it works. All right. Support for Let's Go Blues Radio is brought to you in part by ID Life, the world's only truly personalized vitamin platform based on a health assessment of your DNA. Visit rockinthatidlife.com for more information. That's rockinthatidlife.com and get 10% off by emailing Dustin at rockinthatidlife@gmail.com. That's hard to say. And tell him Let's Go Blues Radio sent you. And by Center Ice Brewery, St. Louis's hockey-themed brewery. Visit centericebrewery.com today to schedule a no-contact curbside pickup or to make a reservation in their tap room located at 3126 Olive Street in Midtown St. Louis. It's one of the best places to watch a Blues game. That's centericebrewery.com. Please drink responsibly. That'll wrap up episode 22 of season 10 of the original St. Louis Blues hockey podcast, Let's Go Blues Radio. Thanks for listening, and thanks to those who participated in the YouTube and Facebook live chats during the live show. We hope you enjoyed it as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. For Jeff Ponder and Bill Day, I'm Kurt Price. Until next time, everyone, let's see if I can get this right this week. Beat LA. Let's go Bengals. Let's go Blues.
Fuck the NFL. Let's go Blues.
Kurt, I'm so proud of you. Let's go Bengals. Let's go Blues. I love Kurt Price.
The Chiefs are at home tonight against Cyanosport at the War Memorial at 8. Good seats are still available. I think that went very well.
Thank you for listening to Let's Go Blues Radio. Now take off, hosers.
I want you to have a heart attack and die so that we never have to do this shit again.
Well, there's 90 minutes of your life you'll never get back. Sorry.
St. Louis Blues, St. Louis Blues. Have you heard the news about our St. Louis Blues? They've only just begun, they're on their way to #1. Now there's no more blues for our St. Louis Blues. The Blues are on the ice tonight again.